Here we are back again at an amazing Wall Street Journal market report. The financial markets are telling you a story of newfound hope. I think you can feel it as I do. It's a story that crossed a threshold that many thought impossible just a month ago. Yesterday, Friday, April 17th, the S&P 500 has reclaimed record highs, while the Nasdaq posted staggering gains for the week. We'll look at those charts in just a moment. According to reports from The Guardian and The Motley Fool, the primary catalyst for this rally was a single narrow waterway 6,600 miles away from Wall Street. You know it, the Strait of Hormuz. After a month of near total closure that created what energy experts called the largest oil disruption in history, Iran's foreign minister declared the strait completely open for commercial traffic. That's what this whole front page is about, folks. The reaction was swift. Brent crude tumbled 10% below the $90 a barrel mark, and according to the LSEG data, investors responded with a relief rally that sent every major sector higher, save for energy and utilities. But as we see the bulls running on the exchange floors, there is a quieter, more ancient story unfolding in the vaults. Most investors were watching their screens on Friday, cheering as the Dow climbed over 400 points. But if you were watching the commodities desk, you saw something else remarkable. Our friend over here, gold, didn't just follow the trend, it set its own. According to Live Mint, gold futures surged over $100 per ounce on Friday, closing near a historic $4,900 an ounce. And silver? Well, according to industrial trackers at goldsilver.com, silver closed over $80, marking its fourth consecutive weekly advance. I know I was getting the notifications from APMEX all week. In fact, they had a at-spot sale. I don't know if it's still going on, but hey, I've got a link right here if you want to use it. I know they had a lot of products that they were selling at spot. Maybe they still do. But either way, we know that silver was doing its thing as well. Now, normally when the stock market goes up, the safe havens like gold go down, but not today. Why is that? Well, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the United States has officially crossed a bridge that no one wanted to cross. For the second consecutive year, shocker, Washington is spending more than $1 trillion on interest for the national debt. According to analysis, that's more than we spend on our entire national defense. While the headline in the news was the reopening of the oil routes, the real news was the phenomenon economists call fiscal dominance. Gold and silver are rising because the stock market is celebrating a temporary peace in the Middle East. The metals are tracking in a long-term reality, the value of paper in your pocket. According to Fidelity's latest macro research, corporate earnings are still growing at a robust 17% annual rate, providing a solid floor for stocks. But investors are hedging their bets. They're buying the companies that make the future, but they're holding the silver and gold that protected the past. It's a rare moment in history where optimism and caution are walking hand in hand. We are seeing a market that is, according to Morningstar, taking the elevator up for a change. The strait is open, the debt is high, and the American investor is proving once again that they can find a way to thrive in the middle of both. So let's go ahead and look at the charts so you can see for yourself what on earth everyone is so happy about when it comes to Wall Street this week. Check out these charts here. That is a capital V, folks, as you can see. So we'll start here at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, as we normally do. 49447 is where we close. 868 points on the week, almost 2%, 1.79%. We are not quite at the all-time high. That was in February. But take a look at that rebound. It's impressive, and that's kind of where the all-time high will be. I marked it for you, just in case you needed that. S&P 500 over here. We have 7126, that's 84 points. We did hit an all-time high in the S&P 500. There's the chart right there. You can see the crazy growth. And then we have the NASDAQ Composite sitting at 24468, up 365 points, 1.52%. All-time high was, once again, yesterday, and we've been waiting on this NASDAQ composite. The all-time high before this point was around Halloween of last year. So that tells you something there. Amazing little chart here. What about the international stocks? Well, we can take a look. We're going to see a lot of the same trends going on here, folks. All of this is basically up. I don't really need to go through all of them because they're basically telling the same story. There were a couple that did not, such as Brazil and Chile. They were down, but basically everyone else was up here, up in the euros. We had Norway, who was down almost 3%, which, I'm not an expert on the Norwegian economy, but I do know that they're huge in international shipping. All those huge boats that go across the water, a lot of those are coming from Norway. So it would make sense that they would be down. I'm just speculating, of course. But yeah, everybody's doing all right over here. Now we go to Asia Pacific. This is an area where a lot of the oil flows from the Middle East, and so we are seeing most of them down. India is not, but everyone else seems to be down over in the Asia Pacific area. So let's go ahead now and take a look at your metals on a chart as well. So silver, as we talked about, closed over $80. $81.57 is what I'm reading right now. That is 10% on the week. We are at $7.57 gained this week, which means year to date is 12.85%. How cool is that? That is a giant gain, folks. 12.5% on the year. Gold says, hold my drink. It's got $4,846 as the spot price at the end of this week. That's $175 gain, 3.77%, which means year to date, it has gained $500 at 11.82%. You know what that means, folks? Gold has been the winner here the last couple of weeks, but silver now takes the lead. It has won the week and it has won the year to date so far. And we'll see where this tracks, but as of right now, that means silver is our winner of the week. That being said, I hope you enjoy this. If you'd like to support this channel in a way that makes sense to you, you might consider liking this video, commenting, sharing it with friends. That's free, folks. If you're trying to buy silver, gold, palladium, copper, any of the like, you can use my APMEX link. You don't have to pay any more for that, but they actually give me a fee for sending you over there. That's another great way to support us. If you'd like to consider being a channel member, that's another amazing way to keep the lights on here. So just wanted to throw that out there. And until next time, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.